and welcome to Dusty Book Sniffers. I'm Nicole and this is my April haul, or maybe I should call it my accountability video. So let's get into it. Well, good morning and good evening everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking some time out of your day to sit here and listen to me prattle on about books. Fair warning though, this is going to be a pretty lengthy video. We have 17 books in total to go through. It's a little bit of an accountability video for this one for me as well. Some of these are online purchases as well through some of my subscriptions such as Scribe and Kindle. So I don't think any were Kindle Unlimited though, so I've actually purchased them through Kindle. And then I've got some physical ones, and then I've just got some that just because. There's reasonings behind some of these purchases. All right, so if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any of my future bookish uploads. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day yet again to spend it with me. As I said, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy video. I have cut the little blurbs down. I have got them all here on the books that what they're about and all the rest of it. So that is going to cut some of the time down rather than me try and struggle through reading them, because we all know that I can't read out loud. I start to stutter, I start to get very nervous and all that sort of stuff. So I have memorized most of them. I think I will just have to read some, and so you'll just have to bear with me, so please be kind. All right, so and also while you're there, don't forget to give us a thumbs up as well for this video. So we're going to get stuck straight into it. These first several books that I'm talking about, these are all online purchases, so I don't actually have the physical copies here, and they are all part of the Women's Prize long list. So basically, I was watching a video a few weeks ago now, and it is Simon Savage's Savage Reading, I think it's called, his channel. I'll leave it down below. And also his mum has a channel as well. I'll leave her down below as well. And they were talking about it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So off I toddled. I found the list, and then I went through the list on Goodreads and also other reviewing platforms, and had a look at the books and what they were about. I didn't necessarily read reviews. I think there was one that I wasn't too sure about, and I read a couple of reviews, and I don't think I ended up getting that one anyway. But for the most part, I have just read the synopsis and gone with that, and made my decisions on that. So this one is called Creatures of Passage, as I said, and it's got the echoes of Toni Morrison's Beloved. The novel explores the forgotten quadrant in Washington, D.C. and the ghosts that haunt it. So that's what this one is about. It looks really interesting from the synopsis. And basically, there's a taxi driver that drives all sorts in Washington, ferrying ill-fated passengers in a haunted car, a 1967 Plymouth Belvedere with a ghost in the trunk. I mean, that sounds hilarious for one, but so I'm actually really looking forward to reading that one, and that's what the cover looks like. And so, yeah, and that's why it just sounded really interesting. I thought, you know, it's got ghosts, it's got cars in it, so my husband might like it as well. And it's from an author that I haven't heard of before. All right, so the next one that we're going to talk about is Remote Sympathy. I got this one, and it's by Catherine Chitterdry, and it is about a woman that has moved away from Munich, and she wasn't real happy about the moving away, but the new house that she moved to is much nicer than the one that she used to live in. And the best part about moving is that she has all the best carpenters, seamstresses, and all that sort of stuff right at her fingertips. And they're from all over Europe, and I've got a distinct feeling that this is set in the Second World War, and it is talking about a camp, from what I can gather. And yeah, so basically she can have anything she desires made by these people, and it's got a story. So it's going to, just on the synopsis alone, it intrigued me. I don't know whether I'm going to like the story or not. The jury's still out on that, and I'm not too sure when I'm going to read this book, but the synopsis sucked me in, so I got it. The next one is called Sorrow and Bliss, and this is by Meg Mason, and the novel is about a woman called Martha, and she knows that something's wrong with her, but she just doesn't know what's wrong with her. And this one sort of is covering some mental health topics and stuff like that. So that's why I grabbed that one, because I mean, really, if we can read as much as we can about mental illness, I think it'll help us become more educated. There might be something in there that'll intrigue me and take me down another rabbit hole and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I sort of grabbed this one. The next one that I got, this one should have warnings on it, because this one, from what I can gather, is about domestic violence and violence against women. So it's called The Bread That the Devil Need, and it is by Elisa Allen Agnosti. I think I pronounced that right. And so basically it's following a story about Athelia Lopez. She's about to turn 40. She is fashionable, feisty. She's fiercely independent. She manages a boutique in Spain. This is also translated as well. So this was another one that I can slip into my read around the world. So it was another reason that I picked this up. But behind closed doors, she is covering up bruises from her abusive partner. So basically he's very jealous and all that sort of stuff. When she witnesses a woman murdered by her jealous lover, the reality of her own future becomes a little too close to home. So I do struggle with reading about domestic violence, having lived it myself. I do struggle it, but it is also something that I like to read about to help me maintain my stability of not breaking down and all the rest of it, if that makes any sense. So it'll be an interesting read, yeah, seeing how it goes. So it really did, just the synopsis that I read really intrigued me, so I thought I'll grab that one as well. The next one that I got is The Paper Palace. This is by Miranda Cowley Heller. So this one's about, on a perfect July morning, Elle, a 50-year-old happily married mother of 3, awakens at the Paper Palace. It's the family summer place that they go and they visit every summer. But this morning is different. Last night, Elle and her oldest friend, Jonas, crept out the back door and had crept out the back of the house into the darkness and had sex for the first time. All the while, their partners were inside chatting. Rude, for one, but interesting premise. So I'm assuming that the story will go along and unfold from there, and basically it'll all unravel, and yeah, and we'll see what happens from that. So that's another one. Okay, so the next one that I got is This One Sky Day. This one, I'm not too sure about this one. It's by Leonie Ross, and basically it's the synopsis had about magic and food and this, that, and the other. And saying that the local name for magic is core, and basically is it a gift from God, from the gods, and yeah. So I don't really understand what the book's about, but I'm going to give it a read anyway because it had the word magic in the synopsis. I'm going to run with that and see where we end up. So you'll have to stick around to find out what the review is. And I'm going to go through these books because I think some of these books will actually meet some of the prompts for my read around the world. So rather than double up on books and stuff like that, well, I mean, it doesn't matter if I do double up, but I'd rather earmark these for some of the countries down the track. Okay, so the next one that I got is called Build Your House Around My Body. This is also on the women's list as well. This one I spotted in a bookstore at the beginning of April, and I was pretty happy to get it too because I haven't seen any since. So this one's a little bit intriguing for me. I wasn't too sure about it, so I went and had a look at the synopsis on Goodreads, and it's by Violet Cuppersmith as well. It's set in Vietnam, and basically the little blurb that I seen in Goodreads, I think it was Goodreads I seen it, it says part puzzle, part revenge tale, part ghost story, and it's a kaleidoscope novel set in Vietnam, and it spins half a century of history and folklore into the story of missing women. So that's like that got hooked me in straight away. So basically from what it says here on the back, 2 young women go missing decades apart, both fearless, both are lost, and both will have their revenge. So in 1986, a teenage daughter of a wealthy Vietnamese family gets lost in an abandoned rubber plantation and is forever changed. 25 years later, an unhappy Vietnamese American woman vanishes from her new home in Saigon without a trace. It soon becomes clear that the fates of these two women are inescapably linked, bound together by past generations, by ghosts and ancestors, and the history that possesses the bodies and possessed lands. So, and then it goes on to say part puzzle, part ghost story. So it looks like a very interesting read. I'm actually pretty excited to read that. I have to do a little bit more further research and see if this will fit any of the prompts that I've got coming up. So I may have to leave it a little while for my Read Around the World challenge. So we'll see where we end up on that one. Okay, so the next books that we're going to cover, these are all on my 22 in 22 list. Now, my 22 in 22 list is usually made up of some new releases. Probably this time I think about half of them are new releases, maybe a little bit less. And then I've got some classics that I want to read, some books that I've had on my bookshelf for a while, and I will put them on my yearly reading, not my challenge that I do with Goodreads or not anything else, but I will use that list to draw from if I'm doing a bingo challenge or something along those lines. So anyway, I have been going out driving lessons with my daughter, and subsequently we end up in bookshops. Subsequently, I end up spending money that I really don't have. It's costing me a fortune for this girl to get her license. But the first anticipated one, this one was, I read the Invisible Life of LaRue, and I really enjoyed that. My husband actually put me onto that one because he got it on audio, and then it came out as a free one, I think in February, but I listened to it last year, and I seen that she was bringing out another one, Gallant. So I thought I would grab that. I love this cover. Like, it's gorgeous. How gorgeous is that? I do like black, white, and red, and grey. And that building, like, I'd live there. Not a problem. I like creepy buildings. So yeah, I'm not too sure what this book's about. I just seen it and I really enjoyed her last book. As I said, The Invisible Life of LaRue was amazing, so I thought I would grab this book and give it a read. I haven't seen anybody review this. Well, no one that I'm watching has reviewed it. So basically what it's about, Olivia Pryor has grown up in a girls' school, and all she has from her past is her mother's journal. And basically as she's reading through the journal, it's unraveling into madness. And then a letter arrives inviting Olivia to come home to Gallant, yet when Olivia arrives, no one is expecting her, but Olivia is not about to leave the first place that has ever felt like home. So, yeah. And she meets her cousins and it gets a bit hostile, and, yeah, the synopsis is down. I don't want to give too much away from the synopsis. I mean, you know, it seems like a young adult. It's probably young adult because I felt that LaRue was a young adult one as well. I don't tend to read a lot of young adult, but every now and again I'll get one or someone will recommend a book for me and I'll start reading it and go, oh, okay, this is a young adult one. But I get right into the story, and I really, really enjoyed The Invisible Life of LaRue. So I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy that one. As I said, I've not seen anybody review that one yet, but then if they've gone to, I've just sort of, I click off. All right, the next one that I got, and I believe this is book one. I think there's actually two in this one. There's a duology. So The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is by Su Lin Tan. And I don't know anything about this. I just like the cover. Got the word goddess in it and it's got a pretty cover. I'm all over it. So basically it is a fantasy, and it is a captivating debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Chang's, the Chinese moon goddess, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. Growing up on the moon, Xingen is accustomed to the solitude, unaware that she is being hidden from a feared celestial emperor who has exiled her mother for stealing an elixir to immortality. But when her magic flares, her existence is discovered and she is forced to flee her home, leaving her mother behind. Sounds like an interesting book. Again, don't know much more than that about it, and so I will have to look into this and see where it was published from, if it's been translated into English, all that sort of stuff. So if it meets any of my other prompts that I've got. My bookshelf is filling up again. I just got rid of a heap to Savannah, and I'm like, it's like I got rid of a heap and then I've got to put them back. It just must be how it goes. Okay, so the next one that I got is The Christie Affair. This one I've been trying to get for ages, and most shops haven't had it where I've gone. They've been out of stock or whatnot. This is by Nina de Garmont. And I don't know a great deal about this, but I do know that the author has drawn inspiration from around the disappearance of Agatha Christie. She went missing, I believe, for 11 or 12 days back in the 20s. And it's been one of the mysteries that I'm assuming has never been solved, because I've heard people talk about it. But this one is a beguiling novel of star-crossed lovers, heartbreak, revenge, murder, and a brilliant reimagining of one of the most talked about and unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Every story has secrets and every mystery has a motive, is what it says. So that intrigued me. There's not much more on the back. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And I'm avoiding any spoilers on it. I'm actually going to read that soon. Okay, so don't spoil it for me. All right, so I've got a few here. That I got the other day. I went out for another driving lesson. Let me just grab them. And I've got them scattered everywhere here at the moment. Alright, so this, when was it? It must have been in January. I decided, I haven't read Wheel of Time. I've seen that it's got a Netflix. I've known that the books have existed forever. Is it Brandon Sanderson that ended up helping to finish off the series and all the rest of it after he passed, the original author passed away, and all the rest of it, which is a lot with a lot of those fantasy ones that are like epic. That seems to be a common thing, because there was one in the sci-fi genre for June. I think his son finished them off him after he passed away. So I wanted to get the Wheel of Time one, so I've started to collect them, and this month I got book what did I get? Book 3, which is Dragon Reborn, and book 4, which is The Shadow Rising. Okay, so most people know what these are about. I know that they're a fantasy book. I know that people love his writing. I've heard that he's quite comical in some aspects as well. It is now, as I said, it's now a Prime Video series and all the rest of it. And that's sort of what brought it back to my attention, was the series. So far, I've just been getting a book every time I go to a major, like they're chunkers. Like, that one's got over 640 pages in it. And this one's got like must close to 1,000, because I just opened it up at, oh, I don't want to keep going. Oh, okay, that's just a chapter of The Fires of Heaven, book 5. So yeah, this one's got 973 pages in it, book 4 does. So I'm going to be there for a while. So, yeah. And like, this is going to need a whole shelf on its own. Like, look at the size of these books. Like, this is just the first 4. It's huge. But anyway, I got the other 2 in February. So whenever I go out to a major shopping centre, so if I go to a Dimmicks or somewhere like that, I'll grab 1 or 2 of them. And they're not exactly the cheapest thing to buy either. Depending where I get them from, they're about anywhere from $19 to $25. So they're not cheap. But that collection's going to keep growing, so I'll probably get a couple more next month, and then so forth and so on until I've got the whole lot. And I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm thinking in June is when I'm going to start. Okay, so the next book that I got these 2 books at the same time. I got these from QVD. These were on special at the moment. They have a special 2 for $25, so essentially they were $12.50 each. This one I got because I read some of Leanne Moriarty's books last year, and one of them was 9 Perfect Strangers, which has been also turned into a series, I believe, on Prime. And so I wanted to see what her sister writes like, and this is called The Fifth Letter. She's actually got quite a number of books out. I think at last count there were 7 books that I found of hers, so I'm quite interested. This is her latest release, so I'm quite interested to see what this one's about. There's 4 women that try to catch up once a year for getaways. They have careers, husbands, babies, yeah, so they've known each other since high school, and basically they go away, and then a 5th letter is discovered, venting long and long-held grudges, murderous thoughts, but who was the author? Which one of the friends should be worried? So that sounds like a really interesting read. And this particular one here, as I said, this was just next to it. I like the look of the cover. It's got stamps on it. For those that don't know me very well and I have never mentioned on this channel, but I do. I used to collect stamps, and I have my grandmother's stamps collection as well. So when I seen the stamps on it, that just intrigued me, and I really liked it, so I picked it up. It sounds like a really interesting story. It's a moving tale of post-war friendship, of love and books. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society is gloriously honest and poignant and funny, and you'll fall in love with the book. But what got me the most was the author of this actually was 70 years old when she started writing this book, and tragically she died before it was ever printed in 2008. And there's more information in here about her, so I'll be quite interested to read that. It said she died early in 2008 without seeing her book in print, and she left the world with an unforgettable legacy. For more on her, look inside. But yeah, it seems like a very interesting book. So I thought, you know what, $12.50, you never know, I might have picked up my next 5-star read. All right, yeah, we're still going. Like I said, if I work it out, I bought 1.2 books every second day. And yeah, anyway, we don't want to talk about that. Let's just move on, shall we? All right, the next one is, now these have been a struggle to get. I got back in February, I got the latest release from Alice Hoffman, which is Magic Lessons. Okay, so this is book 1 of the Practical Magic series. So it's a prequel. She's actually brought out 2 books now. One was in 2019 and one was in 2020, and so or 2021, I can't remember now, but yeah, so she's brought out the prequel. That is the very first one, so that goes right back to the beginning. And then there's another one which I cannot think of the name of it off the top of my head right now. Then there's Practical Magic, and then there's the Book of Magic. And I happened to see this everywhere I've looked online, and then I try to buy here in Australia. I can get it from overseas, but then the postage costs me a fortune. I have been trying to find this book. This is the last one in the series, so then it'll be Practical Magic and then this one. And so I've been trying to find it, and I walked into a bookstore and it had it. It was the last copy, and it was on special. I got it for $12. So I snaveled it up straight away. So I now have book 4. I've just got to get Practical Magic, and I'm trying to get them in the same size. So yeah, the second book is on Amazon. I just wanted to make sure, because I knew I was going to a couple of bookstores. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't in the bookstores, because I'd rather support a bookstore than, you know, Amazon. So yeah, so basically I've just got to get, I know that I can get it online, but I've got another bookstore to go to at Garden City in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to check there to see if they've got it. If they don't have it, then I'll order it online. And Practical Magic I will have to get online as well, because no one's had it in the bookstore, which is surprising considering they've just released these books. You probably would have had them. All right, now these ones here, I for a lot of people that don't know, I actually have quite an extensive witchcraft bookshelf. So there's a lot of spell books and paganism and old books from like Scott Cunningham and all those sort of people as well. I've got Lucy Cavendish books. I've got 3 of them just sitting behind me here. I've got Fiona Horn books. I've got things on Wicca in the kitchen. This is just some of them. These have got pulled off my shelf because they were sitting on top of books, and I've got more room, so I put them out here. And I've got a bookshelf in there that's got all sorts of different things on it. And so I always try to, things about tarot reading and all that sort of stuff, I'm really interested in that. Have been for a very long time. There's stuff that I've collected. My mum's bought me stuff and all the rest of it over the years. So I came across a self-published book by Sue Thorne, and this is the Ever-Turning Wheel, Magical Tales and Other Stories. So as the summer solstice approaches, the veil between the worlds thin. Magic may be found upon the summer solstice eve. The Fae folk may dance in the hidden woods and glades. The Lord of the Wildwood, a magical web to weave. Read on, my friends, as this magical tale unfolds. So that's just a little snippet out of the book. But it's got different things. It's got 2 parts in it, this book, and it's part 1 is the Wheel of the Year. It has tales, poems, and meditations, and part 2 is stories for a cold winter's evening. And it's short stories and poems and stuff. And I'm starting a shelf dedicated to that sort of stuff. But this is one that will go on my witchy one. All right, and the next one that I got is The Green Witch, Your Complete Guide to Natural Magic of Herbs, Flowers, Essential Oils, and More by Aaron Murphy Hiscock. Okay, so this one here, it actually has like recipes and stuff in it, so that's why I sort of grabbed it. So it's got like prosperity fruit salad. It draws on like things from the kitchen and all that sort of stuff. And I do like the magic behind food and different foods that they eat and the folklore behind it and all that sort of stuff. So I really get into that, and sometimes I can get lost down that rabbit hole. So whenever I see a good little book, this one was like I think I got this for like $15 on special at one of the big bookstores. So I grabbed it, and you know, like when you've got different perfumes that you can put together, it also gives you a little bit of magical history behind the plants and what they were used for, and it also gives you remedies and stuff like that. Like I've got some books like from aromatherapy and all that sort of stuff, and even some of these kitchen witch books and the green witch books. So this is all about herbalism and stuff like that. I have found remedies that have helped me with skin irritations and all that sort of stuff over the years. You know, even with went through a stage where my hair was falling out heaps, so I made up got a heap of herbs that were good for your hair and stuff like that, and it just helped thicken it up a little bit, and not so much thicken it up so much, but just stopped it from falling out, which essentially kept it thick. But yeah, so whenever I see these little books, I grab them. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Do they land on my bookshelf always? No. Sometimes I'll get them, I'll read them, and I'll move them on. But this one has landed on my bookshelf, and so has the other one. So that's why I'm sharing it with it today. All right, that's it. That is it. I bought 17 books for the month of April. And at the time of filming this, April wasn't actually over, but I knew I wasn't going shopping, so that's why I filmed it. So yeah, so thank you so much for sticking with me for so long to see all these books. I'm a little bit on my budget. I think I went over budget. I've been saving some money, and I knew that I was going to bookstores and stuff like that. So I really didn't take money out of my budget as such. It was money that I had saved for it. And now I've got to save up again to get some more. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything that I've got. But that is it from me today. I'm not sharing any more book hauls with you guys for a long time. I don't really need many other books. I've got 4 more left to get on my most anticipated, well, my new releases for 2022. So, and the rest are, they are classics and stuff like that, things that I already have on my shelf. But that is it from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for hanging in for so long. If you have hung in this long, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a book emoji down in the comments. And as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you will not miss out on any of my future posts. That's it from me today. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.